If you have played any game since like ever, you know what an inventory is. It's the funny UI square that shows you that your character has 2,304 metric tons of sand in their back pocket. There are many types of them in many different games, but they're all pretty similar in function. It tells you what items you have and then somehow limits them, whether it's by amount, weight, size, or like 2 or 4 slots if it's a shooter game. But what is it that I hate about this incredibly common feature? Well, let me just give you an example of my least favorite inventory. Minecraft. It's really simple and easy to use in theory. Things go in gray slots, on you, in chests, and in various crafting blocks. But it's just so tedious. I think we all have had moments where we go mining and have a completely full inventory and don't have anything you want to throw away, so you go back to your base only to realize that you had 3 diorite, or 1 item taking up 2 places. It's just so much to look through. The same thing happens in Project Zomboid, where you just have a long list of items. You constantly have to look through it to find an item to throw out so that you have space for that big sledgehammer you need. Meanwhile, you don't notice that you are carrying 4 opened cans that you don't need. But how can we fix this? It seems impossible. You will have to carry a large amount of items sooner or later, and that will make it hard to keep track of everything. And you can't just make the inventory size smaller. That will just make moving stuff even more tedious. To find out, we will have to look through some good inventories. At first, Subnautica's inventory looks about functionally the same to Minecraft. A bunch of slots that you can put items in, and a few special ones for equipment. But what sets Subnautica apart is a few less obvious things. First off, Subnautica doesn't let you stack items. If you have many of one type of item, they're put next to each other instead of on top of each other with a number in the bottom right corner. And it's just so much easier to see how many items you have when you actually see the amount instead of just a tiny number. And all items are very distinct from each other. And one thing that makes the items so distinct from each other is the lack of them. There are a few categories of items and they look very distinct from each other. Ores are colorless with sharp edges, lore items have unnaturally strong colors and are often square, and tools are white and round. Also, some items are bigger than other, and that also helps a lot, and it's usually just items that you only need one of anyways, so it doesn't take up that much space. Another thing is that you don't need that many items at once. There might be a few tools that you always carry around, and you might want to carry some food or water, but other than that, your inventory is just for the resources you are currently collecting. And while there might be a lot of different natural resources, they are quite easy to manage. This is partly because they are introduced in a pretty slow pace, because most of them are exclusive to some biome. This helps because it makes you associate different resources with different biomes. But let's also look at another example, Astroneer. Astroneer does 2 things to make its inventories more manageable. First off, it works with materials and not items. Instead of having 1,000 different items, you just have a few resources and they are all really distinct, either in color or shape. These materials are then used to build buildings or vehicles, and rarely you combine multiple to form some sort of line. On screen right now is every resource that requires multiple other resources to craft. With everything else, if you need to craft a building or anything, you can just plug in the base resources. This means that crafting isn't that complicated because you just need to find the basic resources. You don't have to combine a bunch of other resources to make new resources to form some advanced tree. Like take for example any item in Terraria. Like just look at this tree. And having these trees often lead to having a bunch of items that have no real use except being crafted into other items. For example, in Minecraft you have sticks and paper which have absolutely no use except being crafted into other items. Like, why do we even have sticks? Why can't we just use wood instead? If we just fix the trees and removed a few useless items, then crafting and inventory management could be a lot simpler. Now, you probably couldn't change much of Minecraft's crafting system now. It has been the same for too long, so it's not really anything we could change, but it could definitely have been better. So is it even possible to do anything about Minecraft's inventory without like changing everything or like making an entire new game? Well, you probably noticed that the gameplay in the background isn't exactly normal Minecraft. It's Hypixel Skyblock. And in my opinion, it has the best version of the Minecraft inventory system like ever. No mod or other. And the only thing it changed is the items you get. The inventory is almost untouched. There are a few items that you can get that upgrade the inventory to get like extra space, but not much else has changed. The biggest difference from the inventory system in Hypixel Skyblock and Minecraft or any of the other games I mentioned is that to craft an advanced item you don't need a bunch of different items or some advanced tree, that you just need a big amount of items. This makes sure that it's still difficult to get good items without being tedious. And obviously they made it a bit easier to get these big amounts of items. You won't have to go mining forever. By just having this tiny change, the tediousness of using Minecraft's inventory has almost disappeared completely. Like, your inventory is often more full than in regular Minecraft, but it's still just easy to find everything you need. And with the big amounts of items, you are motivated earlier to build an actual storage place and to sort things out. Unlike in regular Minecraft, where usually in the beginning you don't think that much about storage, but now you have a motivation and also a reason to do that. And that is something Skyblock does well. You always have a reason to carry something with you. It's not, oh, I might need this. It's, I'm gonna do this, so I'll bring this. You'll never really have a bunch of useless items in your inventory. It's the things you need you have. Now, I don't have much more to say, and I don't really know how to end this. So try Hypixel Skyblock. And if you're a game developer or mod developer for Minecraft, keep this in mind when you're designing an inventory or adding items.